Hello and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today we are going to do a fast and loose watercolor landscape painting. We have a 90-pound sheet of toned Stonehenge Legion, 11 by 14, 100% cotton, and I put out some Cotman Vandyke brown, so I'm just going to use that. It's been a while since I've done a monochromatic fast and loose. So we're just going to kind of go through the motions and see what happens. So I thoroughly coated the paper with water. And now that it's just soaked, I'm just going to slowly put some ideas in and see what builds. Let's see. I'm going to push it around with the Hake brush. This is the Ron Ranson Hake brush. You can get it from Cheap Joe's. And I think Pro Art is the one who makes them. A little bit of tone in the sky. Let's see how we want to do this. Just kind of pushing and scrubbing. Paper towel to lift and start getting some textural ideas. Just using a lot of pigment and a lot of water. There we go, big old glob. Pull that back a little bit. See, I think I want kind of a waterway through here. Let's flatten this. Let's see. Okay, so it has been a little while since I've done the monochrome or kind of filmed a full length, so if I kind of grow a little bit silent, it's just me being a little bit out of the groove. Let's see. All right, so when the paper starts to kind of buckle, just use these clips. Press the binder clip down. You can either push it down with the brush if it wants to go down that easily, or just take it off, grab the corner, pull it tight. Some people use tape. I just don't want to bother with that route. Let me go let Hammy in. Okay, Hammy and Harrison are in. So what I'm currently kind of seeing with this and letting take place is a receding tree line. We have an S-shape composition. I think that's just kind of my favorite composition just to go for. Have a waterway, closer group of trees. Let's see what happens with those. Varying the density. Let's see. Pull that right here. Get the landmass on this side with the trees. I think I'm going to let it come up and over, so we're going to kind of block part of the S shape, so it's going to go through, get lost, and come back through again. All right. Okay, kind of have an idea going. Let's get a little bit more tone in the sky. Oh, by the way, you're always welcome to follow along with any of my videos. You're welcome to sign your own name. You have my express permission to sell anything you do when you follow along. I want you guys to have fun, have money for art supplies, and just continue painting, enjoy yourselves. That being said, if you want to support this channel, I have links down below, the Patreon with exclusive content, and thank you to everybody that supports there. And I also have the kind of coffee table book that I put together of some of my works, linked below, and also the Etsy. So I kind of have a lot of things going on with that. So check them out. So thank you for considering supporting. Okay. Having a little trouble getting that buckle to kind of ease down right there, but honestly it's not too big of a deal. Let's see. Now what I like to do is take the #1 rigger, and being in the new house, I've been kind of playing with different setups with the art table, the art desk, and the art room. So sometimes brushes might come popping in from being in different cubbies. Anyway, #1 rigger, put some ideas of tree trunks in. It does not have to be perfect. It's wet and wet, it'll kind of diffuse. It'll soften. Some might not show through at the end. Some will get painted over. But it just starts to get the idea out there. Let's see if I can pull up a little bit there. There we go. I'm gonna give it one last try. Stretch that out. I have found if I don't wet the water all the way to the edge, the page, if I don't wet the paper, that causes irregularities with stretching. So we'll just try that there. We're gonna get some cauliflowering from that water that I just added, but I wanna see if it just helps relax it. Okay, so I started getting the idea of a tree line in this region. And it's gonna come out and it's gonna overlap this one. This guy, do the same thing with the rigger. Get some quick textures out there. And if you want something more substantial, I grabbed the #4 rigger for this. And that kind of helps put out a little bit thicker line, a little bit more pigment. Pull some water out of here. I'm gonna let this tree mass sit back a little bit. I want to have something sit in front of it texture-wise, but I want to start bringing it around, so I'm going to darken this up. I might even put some tree trunks right there. So with this fast and loose approach, you kind of go through a lot of fresh paint. Hammy, don't climb onto the paper. You get your fur everywhere, bud. No, not up here now. Oh, he's got a nail in my side. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, right here is where I want to start putting some trees that are going to come over. These are going to diffuse. I'm probably putting them in a little too soon, but it's okay. I just want to get an idea of how it's going to come together. And also not take up too much of your time with these videos. Okay. So now we have that idea there. I'm going to continue with the number 4, just kind of putting in pigment on its side. This brushstroke I equate to the Chinese brushstroke, the I think it's called the axe stroke. On the side it looks like wood that's been cut with an axe. I also saw David Usher use the side of a rigger in this fashion when creating foliage. And I think I saw the same thing from Alan Owen. I honestly don't really watch too many painting videos anymore because that kind of messes up my own approach, but that's just kind of me. And when I do watch a painting video, lately it's been just kind of the Dutch approach to still lives or just art history. I watch a lot of art history videos. All right. We have put some ideas of trees in here. We can go a little bit more. But while I do this, I'll kind of talk about the paint itself. So I use the Cotman, Da Vinci brands, Vandyke, and the, what's the other one? Daniel Smith. I don't use the Daniel Smith too much for paintings like this since the tubes are more expensive and you don't have as much in the tubes. You're probably looking at $10 more than what you're paying for a more student grade like Cotman. I have been exploring the Meeden art sets, the M-E-E-D-E-N. They sent me a whole bunch of stuff and I really did enjoy that. I don't know if I will try a monochromatic painting with one of their tubes, but it might be worth it just to kind of see what one tube can produce. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, let's see where we want to go with this. We're probably at the point where we can do some scraping and it won't have any effects where it'll backfill too much. This is kind of a habit where you need to practice and see what your paper is capable of doing and knowing the different moisture levels that you're working with. I don't scrape enough, so I will kind of misread some of the steps. Like right here, I should have had a little bit lighter, drier before I scraped because it did a backfill and I wanted some white scrapes in there. So I might even scrape in there while I'm doing the blow dryer in a bit. What you'll see is the pigment around it might soften and that'll get darker as it dries, and I'm not too fond of that effect. You might be able to make good use of it. I just haven't thought of a way just yet. Bring the reflections down. Probably feed a light wash just to make that a little bit more narrow. There we go. And you can always lift and adjust. I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer. I might scrape some spots during that. I might turn the camera back on for that, but you'll see the next step. All right, I gently hit it with the blow dryer. There's some areas that are still damp, and I did that so we can turn it back on and see what type of scrapes we can get in here. All right, now I'm going to pause it again. I'm going to hit with the blow dryer. Okay, now that it's dried off, grabbing the Hake brush, I'm going to start building up some tonal values and getting some texture in, getting things to kind of sit in place. I'm covering up the bottom of those scrapes that I put in, so it looks like we have some undergrowth, and it helps them prevent from just kind of floating in space. Make this kind of landmass come down some. So just get little contour strokes coming in. Let's see how loose we can leave that area. Same concept of undergrowth at the base of those background trees. We could put some foliage in for them. So we're just varying the densities. And we can go in with tree trunks as well. So we have the scrapes, we have what we had done with the rigger when it was wet and wet. Then we have that, so it just builds up a sense of depth without even having to make too much of an effort. And you can make one or two, or a few, however many you want really, that'll stand out against that background. Okay. All right. The same thing over here. That's where I did the scrape when it was still a little too damp, so it backfilled. And to me that just sits a little awkwardly, so I might pass some stuff around that so it pushes back, just so it's not too obvious. Grabbing the number 4, just kind of speed things up a little bit. Just a little bit more tree in front. Here's where I wanted kind of a bush to come out. Creating some of that grass growth. making them longer and bigger as they get closer to me. And you could always grab the Hake brush to get some of this in as well. You do another line of foliage coming in right here, and that'll push some further back. I might even bring some tree trunks right there. It is kind of on the very edge of the painting, but I'm going for it. And if you want to scrape in here, you can. Let's redirect to the other side. Put out some fresh pigment. Grab the number 4. Let's see what we can do with these guys. Letting it skip around. Grab the Hake brush, get some broad textures in, and you could start putting in some foliage with this guy. And then I'll put some tree trunks in, some more branches in a moment. And just get an idea of how I want this to sit. Okay, got the number 1. Now this part is a little boring, and if I knew how to kind of put the speed up in between, I would, but I'll just work real time and just talk about some of the ideas that we need to keep in mind as we put in branches. I want to make sure you don't kind of repeat side by side the same, meaning if I have the split off right here, I don't need another split right there. Maybe just find an area where it doesn't line up, so we break up that potential repetition. It just makes it seem more natural. Lately I've been going for these kind of broad strokes and then building off of the others. Over. All right. Okay. Let's grab the Hake. I'm going to try something a little different after the Hake that I started incorporating into the watercolor and gouache experiments. where I'm trying to get that old world feel to a painting, but using multiple colors and gouache. Okay. So I've been taking this fan brush. I'll get some pigment on it. It's not crazy amount, but I'll kind of gently go down and move around with it. They're all in the same direction, these hash marks. And that's to build up different kind of textures and senses of tonal values, but in a subtle way. But it's also really quick and easy to do. This brush I had found at Hobby Lobby. I think it was like just a small miniature brush. But I think it's the material itself that helps it spread the way I need it. In fact, I'm going to use that in here. To help with some of those effects. And use it to build up a little foliage. Changing the direction a little bit. Okay. Now let's see what we want to do. I always do have a soft spot for dark pigment right on the edge of land and water. Let's grab the number 1. The lines are a little too thick right there, but it's okay. Bring these up into a little bit more brush and bushes that are just growing up and have a lot of little branches and twigs. I think I need to kind of tidy this up a little bit. Let's see if I can get any nice solid tree trunks in there. Okay. Grab a little water on the edge of the hake. Do a little bit more foliage stuff. And we'll start wrapping up in a moment. Foliage around the base. let's hit it with blow dryer and see where we're at. Okay, there's one or two compositional changes. Well, I want to see if we really bring a tree out here. Let's bring that. Then another one on the other side of this kind of path. This was a lot more expressive than this one. I should have really played with it. Okay. Ground them. Maybe I'll intertwine another one with it to help break up its shape. Grab the number 1. All right. Let's just use the fan for some quick light foliage. You can use this to kind of get the palm type plants as well. And we used up all the Vandyke brown on the palette. I don't really want to put much more out, so I think now is just a good time to, oh wait, no. Let's see, let's put some out. I'll do one last big change. We'll grab the number 4. Bring a bigger idea of a tree, but kind of splintered and broken off. It's just hanging down and blocking this path. Just using some strong pigment just to get it to push forward in the picture plane. Put a little bit of pigment down here. For a little bit of shadow area. And if it feels like too much, we can hit that with a paper towel. We could also recede over that shadow with some more grass. Grass is going to go around this thing. Okay. Okay. So this tree fell and broke. It has all its little twigs and other things. And using that last bit, paint, palette. And there you go. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, follow, and I will be back with more videos. Y'all take care and have a great day. Bye.